if you decided today that you're going to start doing this properly and you commit every week to doing this, I guarantee you, I personally guarantee you that within the next few years, it'll add to your practice's bottom line hundreds of thousands of dollars, dare I say it, millions of dollars. I kid you not.
Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way.
What is up, team? Welcome back to the Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast with the amazing Dr. Lona Cook and myself, Dr. Bobby Jasovic. Dr. Lona, what's going on, lady? How you doing? How's the week? You guys are coming off the back of a fresh attraction immersion, and I've heard through multiple people that it was off the charts. How was the attraction immersion? I'd love to hear about it.
Oh man, there was so much gold and so many ideas. Like you needed like multiple people in multiple rooms to captivate all of it. And I did not have that. So I was sad that I was like a one-man show that weekend, not getting my team there this time. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I love our immersions so much because obviously, we get to teach and we get to present at the immersions. However, in saying that, we get to learn as well. And the awesome thing is that we always go out, guys, and we seek out to find, all right, who are industry best people, right? Who are experts in different areas and that are outside of our industry. And we bring them to the immersions. And so in the attraction immersion, I unfortunately wasn't at the US one now a couple of weekends ago, but I know that we're getting it down here in Oz in a couple of weeks' time. But I've heard multiple people talk about and just be blown away by the segment on AI at the attraction immersion. And Lena, I know as soon as you and I connected today, that's the first thing also you said. You're like, oh my goodness, my mind was blown away by the AI segment. And I've gone ahead, and you ready, guys? Taken action on implementing some of the things already from the immersion around the tools that people spoke about, which I love. And I'd love to share it with our listeners and share it with our followers today. So, Lena, what are we going to be talking about on today's podcast?
We're going to be talking about how to utilize and start playing with some tools that were shared at the immersion, as well as maybe you're like a resistant person towards AI. You're like, that scares me. I don't want to do it. I'm telling you, you're probably already using it in many ways that you don't realize. And if you don't get on the train to start to play with some of this stuff, you are just making your life harder than it needs to be and wasting a lot of time, effort, and money. So we're going to talk about how to use AI strategically, not let it use you, to help build your business and your practice.
Yeah. And before we go into this, because I've been using AI now for a while, I'll probably say upwards of maybe a year and a half to 2 years, but definitely the last maybe 6 to 8 months really honed it in a lot. So really kind of taken to areas of our practice, which is just helped us just quite frankly accelerate massively, hit new records. We had a record week last week in one of our primary offices. And AI absolutely is a large part of that. So it's something that I'm really excited about for sure. So when you think about AI, artificial intelligence, in the beginning for me, I was like, okay, what's this whole thing about? But one thing that I want to make mention to everyone is please be nice to AI. I don't know if this is the skeptic in me or whatever it is, but I'm always really clear on it to them, nice to AI, that I'm friendly to AI, just in case this thing blows up and becomes this super powerful machine, which when you learn to use it, you'll realize it actually already is. It's already at this point where it's strangely powerful, but if we know how to leverage it and use it in the right way, it can absolutely help you accelerate the growth of your office in 2024 and beyond. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys, for those of you that are like, I try not to pay attention to it. Like think about when you're on social media and you go to write happy anniversary to someone and it automatically propagates with the emojis. That's AI, right? Like we're using it. You're using it on your cell phone. Now, can we use it in other capacities? Because it's out there. Likely you just don't know these tools exist. And so that's part of what we want to talk about today is like, where can you start to play with more options that are out there? Because in other businesses, they're doing this already, that chiropractic can utilize it as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. So I'm an iPhone user. I've used iPhone for I don't know how many years now. But when I go and type in a word, it has an autocorrect feature in there, right? It's predictive messaging, correct?
Hmm. Right. And that's AI, right?
I know, totally. What an awesome way of looking at it. All right, so we want to make today practical for people. So we said that, we want you to start going ahead and playing with AI, right? Start going ahead and becoming familiar with it. And I want to echo what Lona said in that don't be one of those people that's left behind and that's like, I'm going to ignore this. Okay. I was one of those people with Facebook for the first like year and a half. I was like almost prided myself on like, don't have a Facebook profile. Now, literally, we make millions of dollars a year because of Facebook, through Facebook, right? I was one of those people in the beginning that was like Instagram. I'm a Facebook person. Instagram will pass, right? Same
Same.
thing,
Yeah.
same thing, right? And then the same happened with TikTok. I noticed this trend. I was like, oh yeah, TikTok, that's for younger people. Right now, I have a TikTok account representative, right? That manages all our accounts, advertising for TikTok. Same thing. It's a channel that's generating multi at the moment for us, six figures, right? So it's like, don't be that person that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to ignore it for a period of time because the change is happening whether you like it or not.
Right.
Okay. That's not the question you should ask yourself. The only question you should ask yourself is, will I use this as leverage or will I miss the opportunity? That's
Yeah.
the only thing. Okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because
Agreed. And Bobby, I think great examples of where you can look at you in the past. Were you the person resistant to what was coming down the pipe? And could you see now where, like, maybe if you would have gotten on board sooner, there would have actually been more opportunity for you? And so we're going to make the assumption you want to make things easier for yourself and that you want to grow your business and that you're not going to stick your head in the sand. So, kind of jumping right in, Bobby and I both are utilizing it both for marketing, but we are also even talking about there's things that you can be utilizing it for setting up infrastructure in your practice. So there's multiple ways to even look at how you're going to use some of these tools we're going to talk about.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I just want to add one final thing, and that is that there is a window of opportunity when everything is its early stages where you can get like amazing compounded results. The people that first started using Facebook advertising, let's say back maybe 10, 12 years ago, you guys remember that you would get leads for like $1, $2, right? $3 a lead. That was the opportunity at the time. Same thing then happened with TikTok. It's like there's this window of opportunity that if you lose it, you never get that window again. And you're right now, as of this moment. So right now we're in October 2024. You're in that window of opportunity as it comes down to AI, right? So let's get more specific with this right now. So Lona, why don't you take us through at the immersion last week? I know that you were super excited and I could sense it in your energy immediately around some of the tools that you have taken and ever implemented and that absolutely people can start to consider looking at implementing in their practice. And then I'm going to take you through what we've been using as well. Well, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of those tools? What's your first thing on top of your list that you would say, hey, this is a great one. I've personally been using it, and I would say go in and have a look at this.
Sure. So straight from the immersion, because I was already using some ChatGPT, which I'll talk about in a minute. But first, the thing that I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, is there's something called Opus Pro or Clip Opus Pro. And that is an AI video clipping software or website where you could take, let's say you do your BRF in the office and you have a CA record it, right? Or you're putting on a talk, one of the body signals talk, or a different talk that you want to give in your community, and you record it. And you now have that content either on a Google Drive or uploaded to YouTube. You can take that link and put it in this Opus Pro, OPUS, and it will clip it in literally like 5 minutes. It's going to take that, let's say it's a 45-minute video you have, it's going to take it, it's going to chop it, it's going to put captions on it in the color schematic that you want, and it's going to prioritize its clips based on what it gives you as a rating for things to go viral or to have the most views. And so it'll say like, this one's 99 out of 100. So obviously that's when it's telling you like you should post this, right? And straight from that AI site, you can take it. It's going to give you a caption. It gives you different options for like the tone that you want to write the caption in and the hashtags that would go with it. And you can automatically push it onto LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, right? So I like my mind was blown as I started to play with this because I realized how much money I could save in people that I was paying to do these different steps when I could literally push it in here, have it spit out the same quality, and in one click, basically push it out onto channels. And I was like, like this is fantastic. Um,
Okay, I love this. We're going to go deeper with this, right? Before we move on to anything, let's just unpack this a little bit. So I want to make sure that I'm clear because I've taken notes on this as well, and I hope you guys are too. So the app is called Opus Pro. So what this does is it takes a standard video, is that right, Lona? So you can record. I had a BRF last night, an awesome BRF, where 23 people in there, it was a packed house. I could have recorded that workshop for 45 minutes, and this application will then chop it up into bite-sized clips with captions, fully edited, so I can start putting onto my socials. Is that correct?
correct.
Amazing. And then on
In
top of
five
that,
minutes. Yeah.
all right, gotcha. So there's no wait
For
time.
for next to nothing. I also the price points you can play with it for free and
Yes.
then you run out of credits to use on free and then it's like $20 a month or something like
Okay.
that to
And then make sure I've got this right. It'll look at all the clips that it's produced for you, and it will rate the clips out of 100 based on what it thinks is going to like be the most appropriate, most popular, get the most likes, shares, comments, and follows. Correct? Um, have you tried that? Have you tried now putting on the clips that it recommended, and what's been your experience? Are they the ones that get the most engagement in your testing?
Yeah, so we're just starting. So I can't speak to yet if I think it's dead on, but so far when I've
Okay.
watched the clips that it's given me, I like them and I'm using them. So if you go to my Instagram and just look at what I've put out there from some of my recent speaking, like the last, I don't know, 4 to 6 videos are
Uh-huh.
done by this Opus Pro. And the videos before that, I was paying someone to basically, probably he was using Opus Pro and I didn't realize it, chop it up and then send it to me with like what he thought or whatever AI he was using to do some of this. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, I will know more in a few more weeks of doing it, but it allowed me to because I was having my team create different content as well as we're teaching things in office. And
Hmm.
sometimes we wouldn't always record them. And now I'm like, we got to record always because we're just going to be making content that could be repurposed in so many
Yeah.
different ways. Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. And let me show you now, guys. Let me help you connect the dots on how this is so incredibly valuable because we internalize our whole digital marketing and we do a fantastic job at it. We get a lot of really healthy flow when it comes to leads from online that turn into new patients. So the challenge always with online is testing. It's like people go, well, what ad is going to work well? And the only answer that you know to that is you got to test. So you got to test multiple versions. You got to test multiple different variations of an ad. Now there is a plan that we follow. So hopefully this helps you learn. But when I went and had a look at all our clips that get the lowest cost per click, which means lowest cost per lead, over the course of the last 5.5 years, I have found that there's this formula that absolutely, if we follow it in the videos, it helps the chance of the video getting the best outcomes. And the formula is proof, promise, plan. So you got to do an opening hook, which means the opening part of your video, if you're doing paid advertising, should not be, hey, this is Dr. Bobby here from Cairo12345. And today's video, I'm really excited to bring you some information about what's the most important topic that we see inside of our chiropractic office as it pertains to low back pain, sciatica. No, that's a bad hook. Like it took me 20 seconds to get to the word sciatica.
Yeah.
Okay. The best hooks and the best ones that I've seen on all of our content that get the lowest lead costs are the ones that go straight into here are 2 reasons why, if you're a sciatica sufferer, you need to find out what's causing the issue, like this. Bang. And then we go into proof. So, like an example video would be like x-rays. If you don't want to guess, if you want to find out exactly what the true source is of your sciatica, and then we've done videos where it's like someone standing in front of an x-ray machine and then bang, the video pans to like, all right, a digital x-ray on the screen that's popped up. That's like the proof. It's like, then we go into before, after, before, after, before, after. So that's the proof and
That's
then we
so
start
good,
going into
Bobby.
yeah, and
Cool.
then we start getting into the promise. So the promise on the back of that is going to be like, so that's the reason right now we're doing the offer, whatever it is, X, Y, Z. That's the promise. Well, you're going to get this and this and this, and you're going to find out my promise to you exactly your spine, what it looks like, the structure, the condition, what's the true source of your sciatica, and then you go into the plan. okay, so that you can get a natural solution and avoid things like dangerous surgeries and harmful medications.
Mhm.
Because we know the issue with sciatica is it becomes chronic and we either never restore it or we end up going down the path of highly invasive surgeries or medications. So our plan is to find out the source and give you a step-by-step process about exactly how do you and your body heal it naturally. To see what I mean, I'll stop there. But like that's the plan that we follow.
Well done. That was fantastic. Oh,
So
that was
hopefully,
so much gold right there for all of us that clearly are not marketers, but could get better at our marketing if we could hear things like that, where it's like, do it in this order. You're spending the time to make the content. Now learn how to like get a hook, right?
yeah. So as I heard you say Opus Pro, I was like, all right, beautiful. So follow that process, right? And start making videos. It'll cut up the videos. Then here's what you do. Here's how my mind looks at it. And for clarity, I don't use this app yet. I found out about it in our pre-show talk today. I'll be using it as of this afternoon. Um, so here's how I see this. It's like you create clips like that. You circulate those clips in your organic free channels, and then your organic free channels show you what the most popular clips are. So let me also tell you how we work out which clips that we take into paid advertising. We look at in our free clips what garners the most views, likes, comments. And if you go through and have a look at your clip, I'm sure you'll see it. You'll see that you had some clips that probably have, I don't know, dozens or hundreds or thousands of likes, comments, and others that have had crickets or nothing.
Mhm.
So I look at this app as helping guide me around, okay, well, here are the ones that are going to hit better. Then you look in your organic free postings, which are the ones that work well, and then scale them with paid advertising, which means you show it to more eyeballs.
I love that. Yes. And I think also even if you're doing short snippets, but you have one long video that you've been recording all these snippets, it's gonna just take that and know what to do with it. So so good.
Yep,
Love it.
love it. Awesome. All right, so that's app number one. What else, Lona? I know you spoke about ChatGPT, which is probably the most widely known. When people think of AI, they probably naturally think ChatGPT.
Yep.
But you were talking a little bit more detail about ChatGPT. Why don't you share that with everyone as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure because there was multiple AI sessions, and so I'm not sure exactly who shared this, and maybe it was shared multiple times. It might have been from Lauren, who is our marketing expert for TRP. But they shared the concept of like how do you use something like ChatGPT, and they said use it like 10-80-10. So 10% of what you put into it is really important. So like if I'm wanting it to speak in my tone and my language and the way that my office brand is, I need to teach it what that is by putting right inputs in it. Like, hey, when you're talking to ChatGPT, you would send them to your website to get some of the feel of your office and any other things that you can orientate them to. So you put the inputs in, and let's say you were asking and you were starting to play around with ChatGPT to write you some hooks that you're going to make
Mhm.
some videos about to fill one of the lay lectures you're going to have. You'd put those inputs in, ChatGPT spits something out. If you don't like it, if it got it wrong, you put more inputs in and say, yeah, that
Yeah.
was good, but could you write this in a tone that's more easygoing and conversational, right? And then it keeps reworking the issue, if you will, until you get it the format you want. So when she said 10-80-10, it's like 10% on the front end, look at what it spits out, and then 10% on the back end to keep getting it closer to what you're looking for, as well as then you have to edit it finally. So what when I look at this is first of all, if you have not played around with it, it's free to start playing around with. Go play with it. Like you're going to be when I first played with it maybe a year or two ago, I put in like talk to me about pediatric chiropractic and why chiropractic is a great option for parents with children with ear infections and cite your resources, right? That was like my first input I think I put into ChatGPT, and what it spit out, I was like, huh. Okay, that is wild. And then I just kept playing with it a little bit to just see like, gosh, is this useful? And I think if you play with it even for 5 minutes, you're going to have some ideas brewing in your mind of like how this could actually save me time in content creation for talks, for even things for your team. Bobby and I were talking about like you have a lot of content likely, whether you actually bring it into something that's useful is another thing. And that's where you can ask the computer to help you get some strategy in place. Bobby, how are you using it?
First of all, I want to mention definitely ChatGPT, get the premium version. Okay, so get the paid premium version. What you said there, I discovered that a little while ago, and I thought this is so cool. You can tell it tones, and you can say, "Yeah, that sounds okay, but can we make it more casual and fun?" And then it will make it okay. And you can keep telling it, "Can we shorten it up now?" Okay. Now I know some base fundamentals, right? Probably more advanced, I should call them. I know some more advanced stuff when it comes to marketing. So things like if you're putting together email copy, or if you're putting together copy that you want to advertise with, PSs at the end. That's one of the most commonly read things. So I will then say to ChatGPT, can you please add a PS at the end, right? And it will add, oh, PS, boom, 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 boom. Oh, can you make the PS more curiosity building? Okay. Can you make the PS a bit more enticing? Can you put it's either PPS or PSS, when they have the second one down there as well, and make that short, sweet, and punchy. You can just keep giving it commands, right?
Yes.
Now, how will you use this in your practice? Well, let me tell you, I'll give you now, I always like practical application of things. Okay, what's the practical application of this? Well, quite frankly, it's endless. It's whether you're writing ads, right, or someone in your team's writing ads. It's whether you're putting together, you're wanting to promote workshops that are coming up, you're wanting to promote events that you're doing. But let me tell you that this one little single thing, if you decided today that you're going to start doing this properly and you commit every week to doing this, I guarantee you, I personally guarantee you that within the next few years, it'll add to your practice's bottom line hundreds of thousands of dollars, dare I say it, millions of dollars. I kid you not. Let me tell you what it is. If you just started properly leveraging your email lists that you build up, and let me tell you what properly leveraging means. Lena, how many years have you been in practice now?
14 and a half.
14 and a half. Amazing. In that time, right, just randomly, you might not know the exact number. How many probably people have you guys in your office directly dealt with in one form? It'll be in the thousands, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. In the brick and mortar office, I'm gonna guess 4,000. Maybe I think that's about where it would be, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, now let's expand that. Any group that you've ever spoken to, any event that you've ever done, any screening that you've interacted with everyone in, not actually signed them up, but interacted with them in, right? What number you reckon you put that at randomly, just kind of approximately?
Oh my gosh. Tens and tens of thousands. I have no idea.
All right, let's just be conservative. Let's say 10,000 people. I've
Yeah.
spoken in front of 10,000 people, done screenings where maybe we signed up 50, but I probably spoke to like 200. Now let's just put it at 10,000. All right. One more question. Have you done any form of Facebook, Instagram, Meta advertising in the past?
Yes.
Cool. I'm assuming if you've done any form of advertising, you would have had leads that have come
Yeah.
through, and then some of those leads, they just never took up the offer, but you actually own their details, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So dare I say there's also thousands in there too. Okay. So if you pull up, and you can very easily check this. If someone's managing your account, you could tell them, how many leads have I ever gotten ever through Facebook? It's very easy. They go into ads in your ads manager, they do a data range collection, and it will quickly tell you you've had 7,800 leads ever come through this like lead advertising channel. So if you put all that together, I'm just looking at your numbers here. You said roughly 10,000 you ever spoken to if you collected all the details of people. 4,000 that are physical in the office. Then on top of that, let's just to round it up, put another 6,000 that maybe have come through any digital ever, so we can get it to 20,000. Okay.
Yes.
You have a list of 20,000 people that get this are in your area and are in your community, and less than probably, I don't know, only a few thousand of them are probably still active practice members.
Mhm.
Okay. So we spend every single month thousands and thousands of dollars, most of us, to Facebook and to Instagram and to TikTok to borrow their audience. Yet you have an audience of 20,000 people in your area that I would almost bet money you're either not communicating to, or you may be communicating to in like a monthly newsletter of some kind.
So true. So true.
Okay. You can go into ChatGPT and you can start off in the beginning and say, how can I build a 12-month email communication, right, with my chiropractic practices database, sending emails on a cadence of once to twice a week? Give me a monthly theme breakdown. It'll write it out for you. Okay. You can then go even further and say, fantastic, let me now double click on month number one. All right. Can you create 4 emails for me that's going to go out once a week, all right, and have a small call to action at the end of each email about booking an appointment. And then I'll just add my online booking link to that email that goes directly into my CRM software, right? Sorry, that goes directly into my AHR chiropractic software. Could you not do that?
Yep.
And people all the time ask me, how do I run reactivation campaigns? How do I run reactivation campaigns? Let's run nurture campaigns. And you always, every week, get this feed of new clients just coming directly booking in, directly booking in, directly booking in, right? And you leverage it all through AI. How hard is that? Now, I edit everything. So I give it the commands and then I give it my personal touch. So I'll go through, edit it, change it, add things in there as I need. There you go. There's a 12-month email marketing campaign and email every single week. It's going to go out to your database. And I personally will guarantee you that I'll put multiple 6 figures on your bottom line within the next few years if you just commit to that one practice.
I think everybody needs to get off this podcast now and go play with ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
And share
100%.
this with everybody else you know that could totally just need to listen to that on repeat until you just go do it. Yep.
Yep, exactly. So Opus Pro, great video editing software, okay, for helping us produce content. And then we've got ChatGPT Premium, which is great copywriting software and research software, quite frankly. More than just copywriting software that helps us put together compelling copy and that helps us put together campaigns. I'm just giving you one example there of how you can put together an email campaign that will directly start generating new patients for you. One final one. Anything else that you want to add there, Lona, that's a friend of yours that you like, that you've definitely used?
I think what I just kind of want to end on is you guys, like, when we just heard Bobby say what he just said about, like, how many touch points we have with people and are we really nurturing them, is like, I think a lot of what holds chiropractic back is most of us don't even know to expand our thinking here, right? And so when you get to like what we were just at in Denver with TRP, that attraction immersion is like, it just feels so like exciting to me to think about, like, could we have better problems? Could we have the better problem of like, wow, there are so many opportunities to keep circulating our message in our community that now my problem is I can't hire doctors fast enough to grow what's happening in my 4 walls because I've really thought about how I could have better problems, like doing what Bobby just said, and I'm taking action on that. So, it's not necessarily using the tools. It's using the tools with a plan, right? And having that intentionality to make your life easier to put some of these things in place by using what's already been built out for us. So I think that's just where I want to leave it. There was multiple other things shared there, but those were the 2 for me that I was just like, wow, if we're already creating content, we already know we need to write some of this copy, but we're not necessarily gifted at it. So use what's available to us to make our life easier. If you just executed on those 2 things, it would be a big win.
And I do have other AI softwares that we use, but I don't want to include it in this conversation because I don't want to confuse and overwhelm people. I want people just to get started. And even if you have started, you can scale by using those 2 pieces of software that we've spoken about, okay? There is other advanced things that we use in our office, but let me just finish off by echoing what you just said there a second ago, Lona. My honest belief is we for years have spoken about this tipping point in chiropractic and reaching the masses. And I honestly believe that reaching the masses, we have the opportunity to do it now in the era that we live in because of social media. Because if you think about it, rewind 20, 30 years ago, the channel, the medium that the eyeballs were on was television, right? And maybe newspaper advertising. Television always, just because of the nature of how they sell ad space, was going to be a hard place for individual clinics to start advertising through television. But really, every single clinic can be leveraging social media. And when you leverage it properly, the upside potential of it is absolutely insane. And what you just said there a couple of minutes ago when you said you're going to be having different problems about how do I find associates, that's exactly what we're facing right now. I have an issue right now in our companies of onboarding sales team quick enough. So we have a virtual sales team overseas. And I haven't been able to onboard and develop and train salespeople at a rate needed to be processing all of our leads. So we've had to turn down all of our marketing so that it produces less leads because of our ability to process those leads in a timely and efficient way. And if you're someone that's listening to this and you want one more easy piece of software that helps you process leads better, there's a great software. It's an AI software. I never know how to pronounce this, all right? But the way that you spell it is Privyr. I think that's Privyr, all right? But what this does is if you're running any form of social media advertising, we know that timeliness of follow-up to lead is key. This will tell you in real time exactly when a lead comes through. So it'll say, Lona Cook has applied to come into your office and she's answered this questionnaire form that gives you background about Lona Cook. And I kid you not, we've split tested this and there's a 72% so far pickup rate of when you see it come through, if someone on your sales team is available, call them immediately. And people are like, I literally clicked on that like 15 seconds ago. You're like, I know, we have a lot of people to call and it's just popped up on our software, so it helps us get to you the fastest. So people are like, wow, thank you so much.
That's amazing.
But it's scary. It's scary how powerful these tools are. So please, guys, this is not the end of the conversation. It's to start it and it's to nudge you along. Start getting familiar with this. Don't be like Bobby in the early Facebook days or like Lona in the early Instagram days. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, team. Hey, if you enjoyed this, guys, if you have further questions, I know this topic can have a lot of questions pop up, especially around different softwares. Please reach out to either Lona or myself directly. We can help answer anything that you need. And please, if you enjoyed this, guys, give us a 5-star review. It helps the algorithm.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.